So, it's I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Actually, the under God part was added in the 50s. It wasn't in the original Pledge of Allegiance. FYI. I mean, I'm like in love with him, basically. I went to a campaign rally that he did in Boston. It was at BU's Aganis Arena, and I was like in awe. And then, of course, he finished his speech, and everyone was like rushing to go shake his hand, and me and my friend Katie were like, "Move out the way!" And I pressed myself up against the barricade, and I went, "Senator Obama, I'm Valeria. So pleased to meet you. I just want to say," and I was so excited. I was like, "I just want to say that I'm finally getting my American citizenship because you're such an inspiration to me, and like I want to vote for you." And he double hand shook me. He clasped my hand like so, and he looked me straight in the eyes and went, "I really appreciate that. Thank you." And I was like, "Gah." Hi, never washing my hands again. Obviously I did, because that would be gross. So my full name is Valeria Josefina Villarroel Espinoza, and I'm 21. I was born in Santiago, Chile. I moved to the US when I was 2.5 or 3 years old. I lived in a small apartment with my mom and my dad, and we lived close to my grandparents, I think, so I spent a lot of time with like my grandmother, and she took care of me when my parents were off doing God knows what. I just moved here with my dad, and my mom stayed behind. She just had like some, I guess, you know, like, she was really young when she had me. She was 19, and I think that affected her a lot. And my dad was like, "Oh, it'll be better for the two of us. It'll be better for our daughter if we like move to the US." And so me and my dad moved here together. And my dad would work all the time, so I would hardly ever see him except like on the weekends. So I would spend
we worked a lot of hours, yeah.
So I would spend a lot of time with his brother and sister, my aunt and uncle. So, because we all lived very close to each other, like walking distance.
Yep.
My mom came a few years after that because my dad was really lonely without her. So I didn't know my mom until I was like 7. It was like a mixed emotions.
No.
She didn't know anyone. She only knew my dad and his family. And she was very young when she came here too. So, but she hadn't seen me in a long time. So she was just very excited to be reunited with me and my dad.
Very emotional.
Very emotional.
¿Qué se quiere decir o no? ¿O no?
Claro que te emocional. Yeah. When my mom came to live with us permanently, then that's when we moved, and we got an apartment in Boston. I only spoke Spanish at home. No one speaks English at home. We all speak Spanish.
¿Dónde está el Quijote de la Mancha?
Oh yeah, I thought that was Universal Studios.
No.
Oh, okay. My dad tells this really funny story that I come back from my like first day of daycare and preschool, and I'm like, "People are so mean," and he's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" I was like, "They talk so fast." So I just like didn't understand anything that they were saying, and that's why it was so traumatizing. But you know, after a while, it just didn't become a big deal, and because I was so young, I picked up the language really easily. My family owns like a little restaurant in the Boston area, so when we'd have like days in Spanish class where people had to bring in food, or like my parents would always like, you know, make empanadas or something like that. I was never really teased about it, about not being American.